So I found this YouTube channel by a user called Erin Janus, and she's a vegan and she likes talking about animal rights and that sort of thing. As you can probably guess, she really doesn't like Kendall Jones very much, but she's done a video here about Cecil the lion and big game hunting generally, so let's hear what she's got to say for herself.
Walter paid an alleged $50,000 to go on the hunt to kill this lion. He shot Cecil with a bow and arrow, but Cecil didn't die right away. He was stalked for 40 hours and then shot with a rifle. And people are saddened, outraged. Even Jimmy Kimmel almost cried talking about this on his show.
If you want to make this into a positive, you can, sorry.
What the hell, Jimmy Kimmel? It seems to be like a qualification now to work in the media and these chat shows and things, to basically be a complete and utter wuss and, you know, sort of spend all your time virtue signaling to everyone to sort of make everyone like you because, you know, clearly for Jimmy Kimmel, that's his only way of kind of, you know, gaining popularity and increasing his profile, I guess. In fact, I'd almost prefer to think that rather than that he is that much of a complete pussy. But you've got this kind of atmosphere throughout because, you know, you've got the atmospheric music and the real somber look on her face about how serious this is and the sort of gunfire sound effect. And all these things are all, you know, editing tools to try and plead to emotion. Because when you don't have any real objective arguments against trophy hunting, that's what you have to do. You have to appeal to the emotion of the viewer and discourage them from thinking objectively.
This is a culture. It's not just the odd psychopathic American dentist doing this. Thousands of people from all around the world have been flying out to Africa for decades and paying thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, just like Walter did, to kill beautiful endangered animals and behead the animals they kill to keep their head as a trophy of sorts.
So tell me, Erin, if what you say is true, and I don't doubt that it is, that people have been spending tens of thousands of dollars to shoot big game in Africa, and they've been doing it for decades, why is it that today in 2016 there's still lots of animals for them to shoot? Why did Cecil the lion get shot? Why isn't Cecil the lion extinct? Well, the answer to that is that because they spend all this money, they've created an entire industry. Farmers who would otherwise give over their land to agriculture for the raising of domesticated animals, for growing crops, that sort of thing. Instead, they're maintaining the habitats for these wild species to live in. They're ensuring that they breed and that they thrive. In some cases, they breed them themselves. They have their own breeding programs because to them, those animals being alive that can be shot is immensely profitable. And they have no incentive to just to let hunters shoot all of them, because if they did that, then they would be killing their golden goose, wouldn't they? They wouldn't be making any money anymore. See, this is what it all comes down to, and I hate to say it, because I have encountered this with vegans before, where you don't seem to understand basic capitalism.
And they say that the money they paid to hunt and kill these animals helps local communities, but it has been proven time and time again that the money does not get evenly distributed throughout the communities. Most of it ends up in the hands of greedy government officials or businessmen.
There's a little bit of a straw man here, isn't it, Erin? Given that most hunters don't make that argument at all. They don't talk about local communities because, frankly, they're not that interested in local communities. What they're interested in is conservation. And as I just pointed out, through the sort of miracle of consumer capitalism, these habitats are being maintained for these animals to thrive in and creating industry, which indirectly benefits the local communities because it creates employment. I mean, yeah, sure, a hunter might give away the meat to the locals or whatever, but who's guiding this, you know, this hunter through the wilderness? I mean, who's enabling him to do this? Who's serving him drinks? Who's working in the hotel he stays in? These are locals. It's called capitalism. I don't know why I keep having to repeat this, but yeah, it's capitalism. That's how it works.
And then feed the body of the endangered animal to impoverished locals. But if you ask me, a $50,000 or $80,000 animal to feed one small community seems kind of wasteful. The tens of thousands of dollars these people dish out to kill one animal could just as easily have been put into projects to feed dozens of communities for a year.
This is getting a little bit repetitious, isn't it, this whole video at the moment? Because again, she's showing a complete misunderstanding of capitalism. Because, okay, Erin, right, these guys have got hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Well, what are you going to do to incentivise them to, give that money away for free? How much money have you given to Africa, Erin? Have you spent any time in Africa giving locals free money? I don't know, building communities or what? You haven't done any of this. And why would anybody else? And why would you patronise these people like that? Why would you pat them on the head? It smacks of it being a little bit racist to me. These people are no different to you or I. They're just as entitled to make money as you or I. And if somebody wants to go there and say to the farmer, hey, I know you're going to plough that field over so you could make some money to feed your family, but I tell you what, I'll give you a shed load of money if you make sure that it stays all nice and the lions can run about and I can shoot one of them. It's called industry. But you seem to get this. You get this all the time from vegans, and it's because they don't understand the concept of incentive. You know, people don't do things out of the kindness of their heart. I mean, look at the UK. Look at how much conservation there is in the UK. £500 million worth of it coming directly from shooting and hunting. You might have these odd charities that talk about conservation, but they don't actually do any of it because they can't get enough money to do it. You know, this is how the world works. You can't expect everybody to just, I don't know, these people in Africa to maintain it as like a private park for you to enjoy and watch on David Attenborough documentaries while their children starve, incidentally, because they're not getting any bloody money. Just, I don't know. I don't know what to say here, really, to be honest. There's more of this video that she's covered. I mean, she's talking about this dentist who shot Cecil the lion and saying how it was illegal, and of course we now know that it wasn't illegal, and, you know, whatever. But let's talk about poachers for a minute. Because this is the other thing that gets, you know, funded to stop, or people are funded to stop happening, is poaching. You know, you get people going out and, shooting rhinos, taking all sorts of animals in order to make medicines to go over to places like China, because it's, you know, they've got this strange delusion that rhino horn's going to cure cancer or make them, you know, shag like a bunny rabbit or whatever it is. Those people are dangerous. If you go to Africa, I mean, especially if you go to Kenya, because it's a particular problem in Kenya, because Kenya banned big game hunting. And you may have noticed that their populations of big game reduced up to about 70% since they did that in the 1970s. And they're terrified of poachers. Poachers will shoot you if they see you. But in other countries in Africa, where they do have big game hunting, and these people go there and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, the wardens and the rangers there now have helicopters and belt-fed machine guns. They have, you know, proper organised ways of preventing poaching. And instead, the poachers who just don't give a toss, they will just kill everything to make a few quid. Instead, they've got rich Americans going over there and, sustainably taking cull animals and paying them loads of money to do it. Come on, girl, get a grip. I mean, I don't want to sort of, you know, punch down or whatever they call it when they're doing these sorts of videos on YouTube, which is why I chose you, Erin, because you've got a very large following, and it would be nice for you to just kind of think a little more when you've got this amount of influence on people, because it's really just spreading misinformation. Anyway, that's me. I'm out.